Hello. It was the Bollywood which popularized Urdu in Pakistan. It was the great fluency of Urdu of Nargis that made huge imprints on Raj Kapoor. And Pakistan, where Urdu was spoken just by 10% of the population, got interested in the language because of the impact of the Bollywood films. We have with us acclaimed author Harjap Singh Aujla. His book, Romancing the 50s, Nargis, RK Studio, and a Wistful Indian, is the topic of discussion for us today. And joining me from Chandigarh is Mr. Aujla. Thank you so much, sir, for joining the discussion.
Thank you very much, sir.
We also are joined by Mr. Amitabh Prashar, a very acclaimed documentary maker. His recent documentary, Confession of Midwife's Confession, has been world premiered on the BBC World and is being critically acclaimed. His previous documentary on the blinding case of Bhagalpur had also got international recognition. Very warm welcome, Mr. Prashar, to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you
Aujla,
very
to begin,
much.
yeah. Mr.
Yeah.
Aujla, please give us a brief overview of the book. This is a very fascinating account of lot many subjects about broadcasting, about Prasar Bharati, about radio, your love, and not only your love, but also the love of your father for radio and gramophones. Please take us to those memory lanes.
Well, as far as films are concerned, my father wanted me to like nice pictures, and he exposed me to good pictures. And what he discovered was that other actors like Dilip Kumar were more attuned to Urdu style of cinema and less at home in the worldly language of cinema. But Raj Kapoor and Nargis both were educated in English language schools. He was born in Northwest Frontier Province, but his father didn't let him stay there. He didn't want to expose him to the savage influence of the local people. So he sent him to UP, to Dehradun, where he sent to an English language school, where he studied initially. Later on, he moved to Calcutta, and Nargis got all her education in Calcutta. So both had similar education in the childhood, and that clicked for the films too. When film uh, in in that film, Dilip Kumar, who was the number one actor at that time, he was pitted against Raj Kapoor. Nargis was the common heroine for both. And Nargis in the film had decided after that film that she is going to do most of the films with Raj Kapoor and not with Dilip Kumar. Although Dilip Kumar was rated slightly higher actor. But because of her cultural affinity with Raj Kapoor, she was more at home with Raj Kapoor, and that clicked in the films also. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a very fascinating account of the beginning of Raj Kapoor, Nargis, and Dilip era. Amitabh Parashar has also been a member of the censor board in the past. Amitabh ji, what reminds you of those era, and what would you want Mr. Ozla to talk about?
Uh, I don't have much, though I covered, as a journalist, I covered the Ministry of Information Broadcasting for many years, and I understand, very much understand the role radio plays, particularly on the issues covered by the book. I'm sorry to say, but I haven't read the book yet, but I'm certainly going to read it. But I just heard about it, and it's certainly it's about those important issues that radio can help in diplomatic relationships, obviously through cinema. So my basically let Mr. Kapoor, Ravi Kapoor join in, but before that I must tell you, sir, one thing that I'm from Bihar, and one thing I have known for years is that Jaddab Bai had a Bihari connect, and she was married to a guy
Jaddab
from
Bai.
Gaya, and in fact, Jaddab Bai Haveli. There is a Haveli in a very bad shape though, but that is called Jaddab Bai Haveli in Gaya, and the people of Gaya, they are very proud of saying this, that Jaddab Bai belonged to Gaya. So do you have anything on this, sir, in your book, or can you tell me something? Tell us some
Well,
more on this.
I didn't want to go into the subject because
Hmm.
I tried to expose the best part of Jatin Bhai, which was
Okay.
her training in classical music and
Hmm.
her singing and her quality of voice.
Hmm.
All were her assets, biggest
Hmm.
assets. The
Hmm.
other
Certainly,
there
yeah.
are other stories associated with her which I don't want to touch because once you
Yeah.
start those subjects, then you just get
Hmm.
in and it's difficult to get out of it. So
Yeah.
I used only Jatin Bhai's Urdu. She was speaking
Hmm.
impeccable Urdu. And
Hmm.
secondly, she was a very good singer and a very
Thumri.
good classical singer. And
She mostly sang Thumri or what?
yes,
It's.
she mostly sang Thumris,
Hmm.
Dadras,
Hmm.
Tappas, those things,
Hmm.
which is not the real Khayali type of Gaiki. It
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
applied Khayali Gaiki,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is, I would say, uh, a lighter aspect, slightly
Hmm.
lighter aspect of
Hmm.
classical music. And that's what
Hmm.
she
Hmm.
was excelling in. And
Hmm.
Nargis, because of being her daughter, number
Hmm.
one, in her childhood, she had listened to her mom, and in
Hmm.
childhood, she had listened to other nice voices too.
Hmm.
So her choice became a very sublime choice. Raj
Hmm.
Kapoor, of course, had a great choice of
Hmm.
music.
Hmm.
That's why
Hmm.
he picked up Shankar
Hmm.
Jaikishan, because Shankar
Hmm.
Jaikishan were easily the best in
Hmm.
the business at that time. Because
Hmm.
we have other greats. Naushad
Hmm.
was a great music director. Anil Biswas
Hmm.
was a great music director. And
Hmm.
Khemchand Prakash was great. Uh, even Hansraj Behel and uh, Shyam Sundar were great. But the type of variety that Shankar
Hmm.
Jaikishan could introduced in the film is amazing. And
Hmm.
first movie, Barsat, they came up with all hits, and after that, they never looked back. Even in their worst music was better than music of some
Yeah.
other music
So
groups.
I have two questions here. Um, one is related to Nargis. We don't have personally. I don't have much knowledge about her. Her being a singer, or had she acquired something, particularly about, I'm talking about the singing aspect of her from her mother Jaddan Bai, because I'm also told that Jaddan by obviously Nargis took that cinema lineage from her mother, because Jaddan also acted in films. She produced in fact a film and also gave music to it. One of the films I remember, I don't remember the name, but probably the first ever film produced by Jaddab Bai, and also she was the music director of it. So, has Nargis acquired that quality of her mother?
Well, Nargis, I
Hello,
don't
Manish, can you hear me?
have
Sorry to
much
interrupt you.
Yeah.
evidence of that.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr.
I,
Aujla. We are joined by
Yeah.
Mr. Kapoor, Ravi Shankar
Hmm.
Kapoor. He's an author himself.
Kapoor sir,
And of
welcome.
course,
This,
Mr. Kapoor is also a former resident editor of the Pioneer newspaper and currently a consulting editor with the Hans India. Warm welcome, Mr.
Good
Kapoor, to the
afternoon,
show.
Shankar. Good afternoon, Nishi.
Oji, I'm
Manish,
discussing a, a,
nice
a
to
Kapoor a Kapoor-based book, and it's nice to see you here. And I'll be
thank you,
glad
sir.
to answer your questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry for being
No.
late.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Kapoor sir, I was asking sir that since we all know that Jaddan Bai's background, and she was so good a singer, and she also has great that connect with cinema, and that is probably the reason why Nargis came into cinema. So,
Yeah.
had Nargis acquired any of her mother's, the musical qualities? That was the question, first question I had asked her.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
See, I what I see is I
Hmm.
see Nargis being a big critic of cinema, I mean, music and cinema, and she had a great choice. When you look at the songs that she sang, like "आ जाओ तड़पते हैं मरमा," "अब रात
Hmm.
गुजरने वाली है," what a beautiful melody it is. Similarly, "जब से बलम घर है," "जीरा मचल
आए
मचल,"
मचल जाए.
yeah, and then "दम भर जो उधर मुंह फेरे," "ओ चंदा."
Hmm.
In that song, she puts all her talent into it to make it a success.
Hmm. Hmm.
She shows her acting shows that she is
Hmm.
truly in love with Raj Kapoor, and she is yearning to get him, and that's what made the song a very popular one. Similarly, like that song from Barsat, "Chhod Gaye Balam," in which
Hmm.
Raj Kapoor also had a big role, and Nargis also. Lata Mangeshkar sang it, and Nargis gave full justice to the acting abilities of Lata Mangeshkar. Lata was outstanding. So what I see is for Nargis, before Raj, getting into Raj Kapoor's uh, film business, she had other playback singers too, like Shamshad Begum in film Mela, Shamshad Begum in film Aag. But once Lata Mangeshkar was introduced in film Barsat, she never looked back and she said, "I'm not going to go for anybody else. It will be only Lata Mangeshkar, the top of the line singer." And that made a big success uh, of the Rajput Nargis movies.
Yeah, you are right. Barsat, I remember Barsat being the first film, partly though, very partly, a very brief part of it was shot in Kashmir, and
Yes.
black and white film. And Barsat was also the first film written by Ramani Sagar. And Barsat had so many firsts, And the most interesting thing I would say, sir, is that the famous RK emblem, you know,
Yes,
a man holding a woman on one hand and another, he has a violin. That was actually a scene from Barsat.
yes.
So Barsat, yes, you're right. That Barsat was a very important film in many ways.
Yeah, actually, she, Nargis was virtually drowned in one of the scenes in the film.
Yeah.
Raj Kapoor was holding her, and
Huh.
she was drenched in water, and
Hmm.
her hair was dripping also. And he held her with one hand, and the other hand carried the violin. Violin is also a
Yeah.
very fascinating instrument.
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
for certain that when uh, Hussein Lal used to make tunes for
Hmm.
uh, Lata Mangeshkar, he used to create the tune on his violin and not on his head.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's what Lata also liked most. Most other music directors work with harmonium, which is easy to
Hmm.
handle. But I would say the beauty of Husnulah's compositions was that they were approved. Each composition was approved by Lata Mangeshkar before it was it could be put on the film. That's
Good. Good.
something which is
Kapoor
not a
Saab, do you
subject.
have any question?
Yes, sorry, the connection here is very bad, so I disappeared. I mean, the net broke down, so I was not there. I missed it. Uh, uh, Singh Saab, I mean, I unfortunately I was not able to read your book. I came to know about it yesterday only, but it's a very the subject is very. I find it quite fascinating. You have linked cinema with language and Pakistan, so that's quite unusual, I would say,
Yes.
and
Well,
as
about Pakistan, I can tell you one
such
thing.
fascinating. What I
Pakistan,
would,
if you
yeah.
let
Uh,
me interject. Uh, Pakistan is our most estranged neighbor. China is the other
Yeah.
one, and it's
Yes.
a difficult neighbor to handle. But unfortunately, as far as India's foreign service was concerned, Pakistan is poorly handled by the foreign service of All India Radio.
Yeah.
What I see is the shortwave transmissions are not there in Punjabi. Now they have been withdrawn from Urdu too, and other languages also have been deprived of shortwave service, which is the longest distance service in broadcasting. What
Yeah.
we have done is we have a high-powered 1,000 kilowatt transmitter in Gujarat at Rajkot, which is trying to cover Karachi, which is the home of Urdu in Pakistan. And also, they are trying to cover Lahore, but Lahore, it doesn't reach Lahore during the daytime. And at night, when it reaches Lahore, the signal is attenuated to such an extent that the signal quality goes down quite a bit. The only place which covers Pakistan, Lahore खास तौर पे, uh,
Okay.
that that is Amritsar. Amritsar
Okay.
is only 35 miles from Lahore,
Yeah.
and it is 18 miles. The border is 18 miles from Amritsar and 17 miles from Lahore, and
Hmm.
it was in the local range of Radio Pakistan Lahore. Before that, it
Okay.
was All India Radio Lahore. But
Hmm.
India has not tried to exploit the potential of Amritsar for covering Lahore. I have
Okay.
dwelt on the subject with Dr. Manmohan Singh also and with the present government also, because I feel that if we can cover Lahore, which is a city of 1.44 crores at this time, this is a huge
Okay.
city and it is a trilingual city because people are educated. It's Punjabi speaking as far as mother tongue is concerned. It is Urdu speaking as well as the common language of common usage is concerned. And it is English speaking as far as the elite language is concerned. So Lahore is one place in Pakistan which is the most educated, and people have the highest quality education in that city. It was before partition also. After that, they have maintained it. On the other hand, first, when 1948, All India Radio opened its shop in Jalandhar and Amritsar. Their Amritsar transmitter could reach Lahore at that time. But after 5 years, when Jalandhar's strength was increased, the transmitter was located in the middle between Ludhiana and Jalandhar, and that became the new focus area. And Amritsar transmitter was closed, shut down permanently. After that, two Vivid Bharati transmitters were allowed to Punjab at Chandigarh and Amritsar. Amritsar being the largest city, plus the most business savvy city, third the biggest industrial city, and Chandigarh being the capital. So both were given Vivid Bharati circuit. But unfortunately, 1965 war started, and during the war, one of the industrial areas of Amritsar was badly bombed, in which hun- more than 100 casualties were. And because of that, All India Radio Authority decided to move the transmission and other equipment from Amritsar to Jalandhar. And they didn't put those things back in Amritsar after the war was over. They started the Vivid Bharati service from Jalandhar. So Jalandhar was one-fourth of the size of Amritsar. In Amritsar was larger. Number two, Amritsar was speaking the same language which Lahore was speaking. Because Amritsar came from Lahore division. There were six districts in Lahore division: Gujranwala, Sheikhupura, Sialkot, Lahore, Gurdaspur, and Amritsar. And out of those six districts, uh, Amritsar was totally left out of All India Radio broadcast, and it never occurred after that too. Then eventually in 2001, I talked to Sushma Swaraj. She came to Amritsar, and I happened to talk to her. And I told her, I said, Madam, this is a very important city. It's a border city, sensitive city, and it has no presence of All India Radio. So she said, Mr. Aujla, when I go back to Delhi, the first thing I'll do is I'll ask my officials to design a high powered radio station for Amritsar so that it could reach the hall properly. And after a few months, she lost her portfolio and it was given to Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad Singh. But then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh came. Manmohan Singh was brought up in Amritsar and he was educated in Amritsar. He knew the city in and out. So what he wanted, he actually wanted a station which could cover all six districts of Lahore division, including Gujranwala, Sheikhupura, Sialkot, Lahore, Gurdaspur, Amritsar. And the location which was selected was Karinda, which is about 4 or 5 miles from the border. And a 300 meter high tower was designed for there. But unfortunately, they designed a steel tower which was not the most appropriate to put in this location because concrete tower is more monolithic and it is more stable. Secondly, if a plane crashes into the tower, the plane will fall either on the left side or the right side. It will not damage the tower. Whereas the steel tower is such that it can be, bent by the strike by airstrike. So I think the first mistake that Prasar Bharati made was not to go for a concrete tower. The other thing is, if we have to go for a concrete tower, we should have gone for at least 200-meter height because at that height we could have covered the downtown areas of Lahore a lot better, and downtown areas of Amritsar a lot better. The other thing is that Punjabi spoken in Lahore and Amritsar is common. I mean, its accent is the same. Whereas Jalandhar speaks a different kind of accent, which is called Dwabi. Amritsar, Lahore, they speak Majhi. And Amritsar should have been a venue of a radio station, independent radio station, which could counter Lahore. Lahore is broadcasting in uh, Urdu also and in Punjabi too. Whereas Amritsar is not broadcasting anything because all the broadcasting staff is located in Jalandhar, and the government of India has been insensitive to the needs of Amritsar, to the needs of Pakistan. And
Indeed,
even
No, you are right.
indeed,
You are right, Singh Saab.
indeed.
Actually, we have not been able to exercise our soft power, as you rightly
yes,
said. That you see, first of all, you see, Pakistan being an artificial nation.
ye,
I mean, it's the only country in the world which has imported its national language. There is
right,
no country in the world that has imported its national language. Urdu was never the language of Punjab. I mean,
yes,
for any part of Pakistan, most of that 60 to 70%, two-thirds of Pakistan is Punjab. So, and they dominate also the Punjabis.
right,
Uh, but Urdu was never spoken in what is now Pakistan, or even earlier what was Pakistan.
right.
That included East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. So
No,
Urdu has
Karachi,
never, and it is, and what is more often and more unfortunate is that Punjabi language was suppressed, despite being the national language of most of people in Pakistan. They
right,
people, the children were discouraged to speak in Punjabi. I mean, this is quite unlike in India where Punjabi is promoted. It's the state language of Punjab and spoken in Haryana and Delhi also. It has some status. I don't know exactly what, but so Punjabi is a language, is one of the many languages recognized by the constitution. In Pakistan, being an ideological state, because of their ideology, and not just Punjabi, but also Sindhi and Saraiki, the lower parts, and other Pashto. I mean, they have imposed Urdu. So, and it is very unfortunate that
let's
the Indian government has not been able to exercise the soft power that we could have done, which we could have. Yeah,
let me
and
explain.
yeah. So, what can be done now, sir?
Actually, what we can do is they have
Hmm.
the tower already built in there, but somehow somebody suggested to them, or the inspectors who inspected the structure, they told them there is
Hmm.
some eccentricity in the verticality. The verticality is not complete. So
Hmm. Hmm.
the authorities asked the contractor to demolish it. The contractor said, no, it's not unsafe, and I have built it. It was a great difficulty with which I did it. Now you
Okay.
either set me or I'll go for litigation. What they did is they asked their own engineer, which is called um, Broadcast Engineering Consultants, uh, India Limited, Basil. Basil was asked to demolish, and what they did is they demolished to such an extent that the height of the tower now is only 203 meters. And after that, they haven't rebuilt. From 300 meters to come down to 203 meters, it reduces the range to half. And that is not good enough. And the transmitter has been installed on another tower which is much smaller than that, which is 100-meter high. And the transmitter has been installed on that, which is has one-fourth the coverage of the full tower. Now that thing, because of that thing, neither downtown area of Amritsar is covered, which includes the Golden Temple and the Durgana Temple and most of the hotels. And neither it could cover entire Lahore, because the construction of the two cities is virtually similar. What I suggest to them is, for the time being, let the transmitter be installed on the 203-meter high portion, as long as they are in the process of deciding what to do, what not to do. Let the range be doubled now, because from 100 meters, if it goes to 203 meters, the range is doubled and the area is doubled. Rather,
Rightly
Yeah.
the
explained. Rightly
intensity of
explained, Mr. Aujla. You have rightly explained that we indeed need to boost the infrastructure of broadcasting, and we should take advantage of our radio
and
station.
the second
We
thing
have,
is
yes, we
we
have
should have
extended, Mr. Aujla.
we
We
should
are,
have one we should
yeah,
have one channel for Punjabi language only, which should cover the local Majhi Punjabi, which is spoken in Lahore and the Lahore division, and also in Amritsar and Gurdaspur area,
right. So,
which has not been done. Rather, there is no staff in Amritsar. Only the technical people who just switch on and switch off the things. They have the downlinking facilities from the satellites, but they don't have any uplinking facility, and that is also a disadvantage. At Amritsar
indeed,
is the place which doesn't need to be ignored. It has to be it has to be an originating place where people will speak the same language which is spoken in Lahore, and it is an area where 2 crore population is speaking the same language, and that's what
right,
we
sir.
have not
Right,
been
sir.
able
Right,
to.
sir. So
Yes,
basically, radio infrastructure needs to be boosted by the government, and the government needs to pay attention to that. We have exceeded our time span for the discussion, but to just to wind off, this book has fascinating accounts of Meena Kumari also. That she was one actress who could actually compete with Nargis in her Urdu fluency and skills. And Dilip Kumar also interesting books, and listeners can read the book. This is the book that Mr. Ojla has written, and Mr. Ojla, many congratulations for writing such a beautiful book, and I wish that you write more such books so that we can go back to those memory lanes and recall the fascinating accounts of the past. Thank you,
thank you
Mr.
very much.
Ojla, for joining the discussion.
Congratulations, Mr. Ojla.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much. All the
Thank you,
best.
Mr.
All the
Thank
Producer.
you,
best.
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Mr. Kapoor.
thank you,
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Bye bye.